Sports, education, and entertainment. Wake Up GI with Jeffrey Smith. Brought to you by the Geary Community Schools Corporation.
All right, everybody, guess what? We're back. Once again, thanks to Mr. Haywood III. Very interesting conversation. We appreciate that when we can get an opportunity to sit across from good people, smart people, and pick their brains. Well, guess what? That's the theme today, because that's exactly what we're going to continue with in just a second. Of course, this gentleman, I had the pleasure of having him on my show in one of my other shows, another incarnation of this show. Of course, it was in the afternoon, but we had a very interesting conversation. He's a very interesting person. Have since kind of run into him. Then it appears that, as I overheard as we were getting set up, he's got a couple of letters in front of his name now since we last talked. So we definitely want to congratulate him on that. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and let him introduce yourself, and then we're going to get into this wonderful events that are happening over at IUN. Go ahead, my friend. What's going on?
Good morning, and thank you for having me on the show. For those of you who don't recognize my voice, my name is James Wallace.
Yeah.
Dr. James Wallace.
There you go. You better throw those two letters you paid for.
Yes, and I'm the Director of the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Multicultural Affairs at Indiana University Northwest. I've been there for 12 years now, and just so pleased to be here this morning.
Absolutely. And, I've got the pleasure of really talking to so many of your colleagues from IUN. They come over here for various things, Dr. Frank, and I worked a couple of years ago when we were doing TEDx, the president, he and I were hanging out for a second. So I've really got an opportunity to kind of just see the personalities that are really part of the brain trust over at IUN. And I really got to tell you, I like what I'm seeing. I like what I'm hearing. And you're a big part of that, because I remember when you were kind of just getting going when you and I talked a while ago. It seemed like it was forever, but yeah, you've just been over at IUN for a minute. So first of all, before we get into these events that we're going to talk about today, explain to me about the diversity and the cultural aspect of what your job entails, because I think a lot of times we hear these titles thrown around, and some people have certain ways that they feel about it, others have other perceptions of it. I'm going to let you kind of articulate, what is it that you are charged with doing? What does the university want your office to do?
Well, first and foremost, I'm charged with creating a welcome and inclusive environment for everyone that comes to our campus,
right,
so that they can do their very best work. And I do that through a number of means. I have programs to support underserved students on our campus.
Right.
I do the cultural programming. I work in collaboration with people on campus and in the community to bring programming to campus that celebrates the diversity of our region.
Yeah.
I also work with the administration on strategic priorities and looking at maybe any disparities that might exist within achievement and come up with some solutions to address those.
Now, do you find yourself, because, as I'm listening to you describe that, it would seem that it would be almost imperative that your office work very, very closely with student government, because obviously they're the eyes and ears on the ground. They're part of the population. Do you find yourself, do you have a relationship with the student government? I mean, is there an open door policy? Do you meet regularly in which you have representatives of the student government who say, listen, we need a little bit more of this now. Obviously we've got a certain population, like we've got a Latin community over here. We want to see more Hispanic activities, obviously more Black American, things like that going on. Do you have that relationship?
Oh, very much so. I mean, students are the reason why we exist.
Yeah.
That's the reason why we're there. And working with students, we find ways to integrate them into conversations with various communities and organizations,
right,
and just committees that meet and discuss policy and plans and activities for our campus. A lot of things grow organically from the voices of our students.
I like that. Because the next question was going to be, is it difficult? Because even as this month, obviously it's June, we're celebrating Pride Month as well. And it seems like nowadays, more than when you and I maybe have gone to school, there are just so many different identifications that people have. People, fall into so many different groups and subgroups and things like that. And, they want to be represented. They want to kind of be able to be acknowledged and be heard. And so are there more and more challenges out there, for a college person like yourself to go out here and meet all those needs? In particular, I remember when I was on college, everybody was a member of something. Every group wanted to have their voice heard by the government or by the school. And so I would assume that now it's even more difficult.
I wouldn't say difficult. I think it's a happy challenge.
Okay, I like that. You're a positive glass half full guy.
And what I like most about working in diversity, there's so many dimensions to it.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be represented. Everybody has a different identity, and you have an opportunity to not only daylight their concerns, but learn
right.
from their perspectives. So I have the happy opportunity to be able to have those conversations and try to create spaces where their voices can be heard. And I enjoy it. I mean, that what makes the job different every day.
See, I like that answer because, as I kind of look and, I'm looking at, school boards and across this country right now, which are very polarized. And I'm looking at college campuses right now, which are very polarized. And I would assume, and from what I'm gathering, in certain areas, it's a struggle because you have certain groups that might want to, they want to be able to express themselves, but certain groups feel that those groups are anti their group. And it's just sometimes a butting of heads. And I would assume a guy with your personality, with your outlook, you kind of are a breath of fresh air to try to let cooler heads prevail and let people know that, listen, everybody has an opportunity to their voice. You don't have to be hateful doing so.
Well, Jeff, I agree entirely. Universities are spaces where you're supposed to have rigorous debate on issues.
Thank you.
And we strive to provide opportunities for folks to come together and have polite discourse.
Yes.
Where we can learn from each other's perspectives. I was at the conference of the National Conference on Race and Ethnicity just last week. And one of the things...
Where was that held?
It was in New Orleans. Thank you. And the sessions were rich.
Yeah.
And it was, the discussions were awesome. And one of the things that came out of that is the importance of having opportunities to have that kind of discourse.
Yeah.
And I think that, and this is just me speaking now.
No, go ahead, please.
Because some institutions were resistant to inviting certain speakers to have those conversations, it opened the door for some of the legislations that you've seen recently across the nation.
Right.
I'm speaking specifically of Florida.
Florida, I knew where you were
Texas,
going. Yeah.
That are prohibiting conversations about our nation's history.
Right.
So the Juneteenth celebrations that we're having on campus provides us with an opportunity to have those kind of conversations, to unearth and surface some of that history, and then celebrate where we are as a nation.
Now, I'm glad you kind of segued to that because, of course, you have given me a calendar of events for these Juneteenth activities, and I got to tell you, you all are not holding back. You all are jumping all into this Juneteenth thing. Let me first ask you, as an academic professional, on a very diverse college campus, obviously now it is a national holiday, but you all were kind of involved, and you were involved in Juneteenth activities, I would assume. I think you were involved a couple of years ago, weren't you? Like well before, or is this your first one? But even before you answer that, we talked about diversity. How do you kind of go out here and present Juneteenth in which it's an inclusive type of event and not just something that's for a specific demographic of students? Because I think there's opportunities here to educate people and to have conversations with groups of people that might not normally be kind of inclined to move into these spaces.
Well, this is the first time we've had a celebration quite like this on our campus.
You've had things on your campus, but they weren't sanctioned by you. Because I remember one guy years ago, I don't know. He was using a multi-purpose room. I take that back.
Well, I'm not aware.
Yeah.
But this is what we're doing this year.
Yes.
And we have an opportunity to do a week-long series of activities. But to answer your question, again, this is an opportunity to educate folks.
Right.
And one of the things, as an academic institution, one of the people I want to highlight in the work that we've done so far is the work of Jeremy McCarrick, who's the archivist with the Calumet Regional Archives.
Absolutely.
He's done some fabulous research on people who lived in Gary, Civil War veterans.
Yes.
John Eubanks is the person he's been focusing on. And also in our library, William Rydell, who is part of the Sons of the Union. Wait a minute, let me get this right. I don't want to misspeak.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me find it here. I should have made a larger font here.
No, that's fine.
Story of our lives.
Getting older.
Yeah.
Oh, William Rydell is with an organization called the Sons of Union Veterans of the Civil War.
Oh, wow.
And he connects with this group.
Yeah.
And he has the Civil War regalia that he wears. And he's going to actually read the proclamation from General Gordon Granger.
That was done in Galveston?
Yes.
Yeah.
It issued General Order Number 3. He's going to actually read that to kick off our celebration.
Right.
So there are folks that have been involved in the abolitionist movement, in advancing the rights and privileges and justice for all people that are included in this conversation. And I think that the broader community needs to know that there were white folks that were involved in this struggle as well,
right,
who have done good work and have advanced civil rights for all people.
Yeah.
So this is an opportunity to discuss that, to involve that community, for us all to come together and celebrate Juneteenth.
This is absolutely amazing. I want to go down the list and kind of touch on some of these events so people can understand and appreciate exactly what you're doing. But as you're talking about the archivist, who is considered one of the brain trust of Northwest Indiana, just period, if not the state, I'm thinking about a couple of guys that are on our list, and I want to give them a shout out because they probably love this. Joseph Pete of the local newspaper, and of course Sam Love, who's out here, who chronicles things as well. Let's get into this Juneteenth Freedom Day activities. Now, what's ODEMA 2023 mean? I'm a little naive on my Juneteenth speak.
Well, ODEMA is the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Multicultural Affairs.
I thought it was something
so
like that.
That's an acronym that we use, and I'm trying to get folks to, be
Look at you trying to be all clever.
You know what? I didn't come up with that, but that's the office's
of diversity, equity,
and multicultural affairs.
Okay, there you go.
So, we have a host of events.
Yes.
And all of these events that we're going to talk about here today are free and open to the public.
I'm noticing that. So you kick it off on June 13th at the Library Pavilion. That's 11:30 to 1. And what's this about? Just kind of like having a little fun, networking, meeting up, having fun.
Yeah, we're going to read the proclamation. Jeremy Picaric is going to share information on the research that he's done that connects Gary to this historic movement.
Right.
Some food. We have some free T-shirts we're going to give away, giveaways.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be an awesome time with music and people just coming together and celebrating our kickoff for the Juneteenth week celebration.
I like that. And then let's go to the next day, which is once again still around the Anderson Library, but this time you're inside, and this is the Employee Wellness Month line dancing class. Now, what is that about?
Well,
whose idea was that?
Well, we partnered with our Human Resources Department, and of course, IU is about holistic health and education.
Right.
So employees and people from the community are going to come together. We have a line dance instructor, Madeline Haywood, who's going to join us, and she's going to show folks how to get their groove on a little bit with some music and
nice.
just some wellness and some activity to get folks moving.
This is what I like about IU is because you're literally well-rounded, because here you are with a medical school on one side of campus and you're letting these holistic hippies come on and participate in one of your things. I mean, most places wouldn't have it, but I love what you all do. Everybody's all in.
Well, I don't dance a lot, but if folks show up,
holistic hippies,
then they'll see me try to get my groove on.
Now, listen, we all need to get their groove on. You don't want to see me do it. That's what you don't. All right, let's go to June 15th, and I got to tell you, you need a check coming in from you-know-who, because I have no at all association with this movie, but I do appreciate why you're showing it. So this is Emancipation. Of course, that's the latest Will Smith movie that went directly to iTunes after he did what he did. And you're going to have a screening of it from 1 to 4 at the Dunes Medical and Professional Building.
Yes, indeed.
Is he paying you?
You know what? No, he's not. But I'd like to thank the folks at Apple TV who were kind enough to provide permission for us to show the film.
Yeah.
And, it's a free screening. We'll have some light refreshments there. We'll show the film, and then we'll have some discussion afterwards.
Okay.
And, the film itself tells the story of a runaway enslaved person.
Yeah.
Headed to Baton Rouge. He's chased by these slave catchers, and it tells a story. You may be familiar with the historic picture of John with his back and his brutally scarred. It tells this gentleman's story.
Yeah.
So it's an opportunity to view that and then discuss.
All right, let's move on to the 16th and the 17th. Of course, this looks like workshopping, where you've got Just Leadership USA Emerging Leadership Workshop. So tell me what that's about.
Well, again, we want to educate, we want to elevate, and we want to empower people as a part of our whole Juneteenth activity. So we have the celebration, we have the film, and then the discussion. But the Just Leadership USA training is for emerging leaders, and it's for folks. It's a 2-day training. If you sign up, you have to participate in both days of the training. Let's say that.
Yeah.
We have breakfast and lunch, and they'll be provided.
Yeah.
It's from 9 to 5 on the 16th, that Friday, and the 17th, that Saturday. Now, the Just Leadership USA is an organization out of Michigan, and we connected with them through the Gary Commission on the Social Status of Black Males, and we partnered with a host of institutions here locally.
Mayor-elect Melton used to be on there.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. And what we're going to do is we invite these folks in. They do this training. Let me tell you a little bit about Just Leadership USA.
Go ahead, please.
The founder, all of the people that are involved with this organization have been involved with the criminal justice system.
Okay.
And they do this training to empower folks to advocate for themselves for policy changes, economic changes, educational changes,
right,
whatever it is to make the lives better of people who have been impacted by the criminal justice system. The founder of this organization was leaving jail.
Yeah.
And the guard said to him, well, you've been here long enough that I've been able to buy a boat, and I'm hoping that your son comes here and stays long enough so my son can buy a boat.
Wow.
He left there and he started this organization, and he brought folks together.
Who told him that? The old warden?
The guard told him on his way out.
Yeah.
So he was inspired by those comments to create this organization.
Okay.
And this robust training will teach individuals who have been involved in the criminal justice system how to advocate for themselves in their communities. Grassroots organizing.
Right.
Empowerment.
Yeah.
Which I draw a connect line, I connect the dots to emancipation and Juneteenth.
Okay.
There's a connection there. If folks can't see it, you can come to my office, we can sit down, we can talk about it. But the incarceration system in our country has had a huge impact on our communities, and folks need to be politically active with policy to change their lives and their communities. So that's why we're having that training here on our campus.
Yeah.
And it's free.
It's free.
If folks want to sign up for any of this, let me just put this here. You can go to iun.edu/diversity.
Right.
Scroll down to the calendar at the bottom, and you can see the calendar of events. Some of the events that we're talking about today, you should RSVP or register for.
Yeah.
We just want to have an idea of the count and know what the spacing looks like. But it will really be helpful for us to get that information so we can be able to contact you and share more information about other upcoming events.
All right, let's move on to another 2-day event that's going to be taking place. Like I said, you all are really doing it big. June 17th and 18th is the South Shore Dance Alliance performance. Of course, this is at the IU Northwest Theater in the Arts and Sciences building, a theater I'm very familiar with. My wife and I did a TEDx Gary event there with Laura Pachenko. What is this about? What's this going to look like?
Well, we've partnered with the South Shore Dance Alliance in the past to have a number of performances in that theater.
Yeah.
And that theater is for the campus, is for the community. We want folks to come and enjoy. The performances are free. There will be a performance that's Saturday the 17th at 7 p.m. and then the 18th at Sunday at 2:30 p.m. So after folks get out of church, they come on over and enjoy the performance.
You got it all figured out, don't you?
We've got it all figured out. And the performance itself is called Freedom in America, Conversation and Movement, Juxtaposition. Mm-hmm. And focusing on the theme of Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So it's going to be an awesome time, and we're just really hoping that folks will come out and enjoy.
All right, let's go to, what's this? Well, we're already past May 30th. Okay, this is a contest, I take it, a challenge. The May 30th to June 21st, 21-Day Racial Equity Juneteenth Challenge. Explain that.
Well, what the 21-Day Racial Equity Juneteenth Challenge was something that was created by Dr. Eddie Moore Jr.
Yeah.
And Eddie Moore Jr. he created the White Privilege Conference. And,
oh my goodness!
And along with some other folks, there's a mobile Black History Museum.
Yeah,
those folks put their minds together, and they've come up with a packet of information that sort of explains what Juneteenth is.
Yeah,
and then there's opportunities to, every day for 21 days, read, watch, reflect, journal on something related to Juneteenth. And what we're doing each Tuesday at 3 p.m., we're having a Zoom conversation where folks will be able to reflect and share what they've learned.
Okay.
So again, you can go to the website, iun.edu/diversity, scroll down to the calendar, and click on the link, and you can download the workbook. You can click the link to find the resources that you can read, watch, listen, what have you, and reflect. And then you can click on the Zoom link on that page as well, and then join the conversation so we can, in community, learn more about the holiday, how it came to be, and the events that shaped where we are today.
Now, like I said, as we kind of sum this up or whatever, first of all, like I said, this is very well put together. I mean, this is exactly what I'd expect from academia. And the one thing that I would ask you is, who do I talk to on your campus about getting some reparation conversations going on? But,
well, we do have a Department of Minority Studies.
I believe it. I believe they're already hard at work.
I asked for a study.
No, but in all jokes aside, I do see some growth here. I see the leadership conferences. I see the diversity. And so, as you know, as the guy who's head of this diversity program, I mean, you know, your vision, as you do this, as you kind of go out here, get the community involved, as well as, you know, obviously exposing the campus community to this. What is your long-term goal with this? Because obviously you have a vision. You're a very smart man. So what do you want to see happen with this kind of stuff or with these kind of activities? What do you want the message to be?
I think that we have to create communities with courageous conversations where folks come together, uncover some of this history, and then work together to develop solutions to the issues that are bedeviling us and preventing us from living fully actualized lives.
Now, what would you referenced earlier about some of the things that are happening on campuses, and you know we know about some of the things you see on like the internet with some of the more conservative podcasters. They accuse, you know, places like Berkeley and things like that of being a little resistant to them coming over and speaking. Is that something also that you want to kind of empower the student body to understand? Because you said it so eloquently just a while ago that, you know, and I've always been taught this, and we say it on the show. And that is that I've always believed that good policy comes from the public square and healthy debate. And the place that you're supposed to learn that really is college. You're not supposed to go to college looking for like-minded people that think the same. That's not what you want. You don't want to come out of there the same way you went in. College is a place to explore and learn and grow and hold on to some things that might be true to you and maybe expand on some things that you didn't even know and are now open to. And so is this the kind of environment, fertile environment for thinking that you want or IU is?
I think that's what IU is.
Yeah.
We invite that opportunity to have those conversations. We're in the business of educating leaders who can move in a diverse society in a variety of settings. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is to have those different perspectives at the table.
Right.
So, you know, we're prepared to have those conversations. You know, we're looking to engage with folks.
Yeah.
When it comes to diversity, I want to celebrate the rich diversity of our entire community.
Thank you.
Not just of Latinos, Asians, African Americans, but white folks are a part of this conversation too.
Right.
And if we don't invite them to the table to be a part of it so they can learn, so we can learn from each other, then we're going to just continue along the same path, and that's not healthy for any of us.
I like that, James. Doc, are Republicans invited?
Of course. Of course.
You know,
they're invited first.
Oh, I always enjoy with you. I'm glad we had the opportunity to kind of do this, man. And I want to tell you that I am very proud of you. I still hear about stuff that you do, even when we don't really come in contact with each other. Once again, this is June 13th all the way really through the 18th, correct?
Yes.
And it's free, open to the public. There's going to be so many different swag and amenities and knickknacks that are going to be provided. And it is well worth the effort. So a very nice week next week. Once again, James, thank you very much. Give me some logistics. Give some shout-outs before you go.
Again, we have food, first come, first serve.
Yeah.
Go to iun.edu/diversity. Scroll down to the calendar, click on the calendar, and you can see a whole listing of all of the events that we have.
Yeah.
Some of the events we need to RSVP for. Again, we're looking to welcome folks to campus to enjoy this celebration with us, and I hope to see you there.
Do you ever give speeches at orientation, you know, for freshmen?
Yeah, there's a presentation.
Because I would have you absolutely included in the orientation day packet.
Oh, yeah, definitely,
Okay.
definitely. There's an opportunity for me to address incoming students, and I look forward to it each and every year.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you, and we thank you, man. It's just about being a member of the community and obviously serving the college and the university that's right in the heart of the community of Gary, Indiana. You are an absolute asset, and I thank you for the relationship that we've had over the years.
Indeed.
You do good stuff.
Indeed. Thank you so much.
All right, with that, we're going to get ready to